Folks, I'll give you a wee minute to find me again. I'm afraid we've had a power outage. That'll be the third one this morning. Last one lasted for about 3 minutes. The one before that one lasted 7 minutes. So at this point in time, folks, I'm afraid I've had a power cut. Which is a bloody pain because Davy can't get a cup of coffee if there's no power. Davy lives in a village where there is absolutely nothing but electricity, so no gas. So we've had a power outage, folks. That's the reason why the programmes went down. So, at this point in time, I was talking about problems at the Scottish English border, according to Professor McEwen. If we become independent, as I say, there'll not be that big a problem after a few years when we get our international trading routes up and running and being shipped direct from Scotland. So I say I do apologise, folks. As I say, we've had a power cut, and no power, and that's on my phone. One of the side effects of no power is the local telecommunications mast with it also being out of power. So, and I'll try and finish the report here, even though I've got a bloody bad signal on the dog. So, cross-border problems apparently, so we've not to become independent because it might inconvenience the buggers next door. Well, I'll tell you this, the buggers next door are used to inconvenience at borders. They're bloody well created inconvenience at 27 of them so far. Scotland will be number 28. Right, moving on. Monday, gas workers in Aberdeen and Fife join the rest of the UK and being balloted for strike action. Alright. Now, the maintenance teams at St Fergus gas plant in Aberdeenshire and at the Moss Moran, a gas plant in Fife, balloted for strike, and they'll be joining the rest of the UK on strike. So who's all on strike at the moment, or who's holding strike actions at the moment? Well, we've got rail workers, telecommunications workers, postal workers, lawyers, dockers, soon to be joined by teachers, nurses, fire and rescue, ambulance crews, university staff, and any other bloody public sector that's not getting a decent wage rise. The UK has become ungovernable for the party of government, and that being the Tories and the House of Thieves and carpetbaggers. So there could be trouble ahead getting certain types of gases as maintenance workers at St Fergus and Moss Moran ballot for strike. Moving on Monday, and the haunted pencil, Jacob Rees-Mogg warns Tories to get behind the new administration and show some loyalty to the party or face wipeout at the next election. Now, Moggy has got a bloody cheek asking anybody to show loyalty to anything. I mean, here's a guy who claims to be a patriot, but lied to the bloody Queen. In fact, Moggy and those doing that road in the House of Thieves and carpetbaggers are probably all guilty of treason. We know that Moggy and Bojo the Clown were for misleading their imperial master, which was at the time the old jelly bean. And they've started off with King Chuck, the way they finished off with the Queen. First thing Truss did was order King Chuck not to go to COP27. I wonder if King Chuck will go anyway. Right, what else we got? Let's places earlier now. As I say, I'm sorry about what happened on Facebook and YouTube there, and my computer going down. But as I say, power cut, 3 in a row there, all in short period of time. So if I put it back up on the computer, there's every bloody chance that it'll crash again. So what I'll do is, when I finish this a section of the report, I will pre-record the full thing and put it out in one piece. Alright? Anyway, the lanky string of human offal, Minister for taking us back to the Dark Ages, Dickensian times, and Minister for ruining business, he tells the Tory party, get behind Truss or face losing your seats at the next election. Don't think it's going to help Moggy. I don't think he'll be in cabinet long, because I can see Truss being gone by Christmas. In fact, the bookies are taking bets on it. Moving on, Monday, back here in Scotland, and there is a problem with student accommodation. The contraction in the private rentals market means that accommodation is not available in Scotland's universities, towns and citizens. Chief Executive of Pacity, Jones, which is a letting agency, said the increase in student numbers and a 40% decrease in properties on the rental market means problems for students. University Scotland say the problems could see students forced to delay entry to university, and that maybe we'll see those who are already gone through courses having to leave university because they can't get secure accommodation for this particular semester. Right, so big problems in the housing, the student rental market, and it's leading to problems. Apparently there's students sleeping on flares in common rooms and things like that. Maybe you should look more at local universities instead of looking at universities further away. Right, moving on. Monday, value of the pound to the dollar drops to £1.10. $1. The value of the pound to the dollar is £1 to $1.10. So once again, the pound's dropping. The pound was also down yesterday against the euro at £1 to £1.13 to the euro. In fact, the markets and the pound, or the currency markets, show the pound down in 7 of the major trading currencies. Down against 7 of the major trading currencies. But it's holding up well against the Aussies and the Canadians. So I guess we've got trade. I guess we're still doing trade with them. But out of the 12 major trading currencies, the pound's down against 7 of them. Right. Now the Bank of England is also going to have to intervene in the bonds market again and start buying up bonds again today, because the bonds market is in shite state, thanks to Truss and Kwarteng. The other thing the Bank of England's going to do is it's going to increase interest rates again, and it's blaming its own pressures in the labour market. In the labour markets, the ending of free movement of people means that there's more jobs than what there is people fit and able to do them. So, according to the Bank of England, this is causing wage inflation. But as we all know, nobody's been offered an inflationary wage rise. Few in the public service, but no many in the private sector or elsewhere. So there is no wage inflation. The inflation is not coming from the labour market. But the Bank of England, being stupid, they think it's coming from the labour market, so they're going to shove up interest rates, which will see house prices and mortgage rates shoot through the roof. And actually, the increase in mortgages and mortgage rates is more a worry for people than the actual increase in energy costs now. So they really have crashed the markets, and it's costing us billions to prop up a failing market. Billions. Everybody's fleeing the pound, dumping it. By the time Truss and Kwarteng were on their way. But I don't know what. I mean, it doesn't matter who they put into the House to even carpetbaggers next as the leader. The Blue Tories down that road. The Conservative Party's economic credibility is out the window. Gone. The markets won't be rallying any time soon. And it'll have knock-on consequences for millions of people, including myself. I'm 55 this year. I'm supposed to be able to draw down on my pension. Will there be anything left of 39 years of saving for that pension? At this point in time, it's not looking like it. The arse is falling out of the bonds market. So 39 years of ploughing money into a pension for Davy could just have been thrown in the fire. Right, moving on. Monday, and the SNP conference comes to a close. The conference is closed by First Minister Nicola Sturgeon's keynote speech. In her speech, the First Minister roasts the Tories and makes more provisions to help the poorest in Scotland's society through the cost of living crisis. So an extra 260 quid for the poorest this winter. That's on top of the meagre aid offered by the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers. She spoke of Scotland's potential as well as an independent country, citing renewables, highly educated population, all the usual stuff. The First Minister tells delegates that we are the independence generation and to get ready to move forward. And that one way or another, Scotland will have its say. The First Minister also ended speculation on her future by telling delegates she intends to be around for the next Scottish election and beyond. So, all the speculation that she was going to do a bolt and take out a position at the United Nations or something like that, or one of these big NGOs, that's just been squashed by the First Minister. She says she's going to be around for a long time. Now she also confirmed plans to move to a new Scottish currency. She tells us that on day one of independence, they will be setting up a central bank. And when it's built up its reserves, it will become the lender of last resort, and then it will take control of monetary policy. The idea is, as we build up the central bank's reserves here in Scotland, that we remain within the sterling zone. And I don't think we will remain in the sterling zone for very long, because of pressures and because of the way things are gone. But the idea at this point in time is to do what Southern Ireland did, and that is to move to our own currency over a period of time. In the case of Southern Ireland, it was a decade. And the idea of that is that as we build up our reserves, we also keep the basket case next door stable, and their economy and their currency stable. Because if we remove our assets right away and set up currency in day one, then we're going to have a basket case next door as pound sterling collapses. As I say, I don't think we'll have as long to wait for our own currency as Southern Ireland did. Scotland has got a huge export market, and as the exports are bought, currency reserves will flow in. So I also think that the way things are going down that road, will be forced to issue our own currency sooner rather than later. So it is the right thing to do. Get your central bank up and running and continue with sterlinisation until we're in the position, or they're in the position down that road where they're stable enough for us to launch our own currency. But as I say, I think the instability down there will see Scotland issue currency really quite quickly. Right, also at the SNP conference yesterday, it was decided to raise the age of which children enter education to 6 years old from 5 years old. I'd have preferred 7 myself, in line with most European countries, but it's better. Kids going to school at 4.5, 5 year old, too young, not ready, no socialised enough, no advanced enough. They're not ready for school at that age. But if you're going to raise the age in which children start school, then you're going to have to widen out the pre-education, as they call it, sector. We're going to need more state nurseries, and I prefer them to be in state control or council controlled than private. I'd like to see an early learning establishment created by the Scottish Government to deal with the early learning years from 2 to 6 when they enter school. So, I know the private sector out there does wonderfully at the moment, but it's not the right way to do it. It's early learning, elderly care and health should all be in the auspice of the Scottish Government. Simple as that. When I was growing up, it was council nurseries. I attended a council nursery myself for my early learning. And I think we should get back to a place where these things are controlled by the state. Simple as that. Early learning, primary education, secondary education, all should be in the hands of the state. Them all. Right, moving on. Where were we? Oh, aye, we're at the SNP party conference. Even the Pravda's shitting himself after yesterday. I've seen some photographs kicking about of what appeared to be half-empty halls during the conference. I like people understand that when resolutions are going through the conference, if you're not interested in that resolution, you're away in the side groups, you're away out and side events and side issues. But when it comes to the keynote speeches, the hall's always full at the conferences. And the hall was full for the First Minister's speech. Really full. No empty seats. So there's pish about nobody at the SNP conference. Well, they're in Aberdeen. It only holds about 10 or 15,000. I don't think it holds that many. 6,000, 7,000 delegates. They should have came somewhere in the central belt that they get more delegates in. And they'd have pulled more money in for party coffers. But that's beside the point. But what I'm saying is the BBC and the establishment crapped themselves yesterday at that keynote speech. As it states on the Pravda's website this morning, SNP unity, independence generation, they're bottling it down that road. So they are. So there you go. That's the SNP conference in a nutshell. If you want to know what resolutions passed the conference, you go to the SNP website and it lists them there, what was passed at the conference, okay? If I'd wrote them all, if I'd put down all the resolutions and what was passed, I think it was 28 or 30 of them, I'd have been here all day reading them out. Right, moving on. Monday, down that road in the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers. Ministers hope to place a ban on farmers in England building solar arrays on the land. So no solar farms in England, folks. No surprise there, is there? The oil and gas industries have the Tory party in their pockets. Between them, the Russians, and the arms industry, they own the Tory party outright. So the English government is hell-bent on climate destruction with increased fossil fuel usage and increased emissions. Meantime, here in Scotland, $2 million to be spent to refurbish Borders hydropower station at Tonglands at Dumfries in Galloway. So here in Scotland, we've taken on board the message from the United Nations and from climate scientists telling us that we're 8 years for the tipping point when ecosystems start to break down and then we start to see mass migration and war. As resources dry up, as the planet gets more arid. And down that road, they're hell-bent on destroying the planet for us all. Okay. Right, also Monday, US officials enter into the NI protocol negotiations. So, the Yanks have showed up as referees, apparently, to protect the Good Friday Agreement. So the Americans are getting involved in the Northern Ireland Protocol discussions, and they won't be coming down on the side of Little England. They won't. they will be demanding that Little England put the protocols in place to protect the Good Friday Agreement. But we'll trust they. Same she did with everything else. Make an absolute arse of it. So expect a trade war. Expect a trade war with the EU. As if things are no bad enough. Huh? So America steps in to allegedly a referee and get a settlement. Alright. Oh, and the other big thing out of the Scottish National Party conference was SNP claims that the renewables industries here in Scotland will be a 20 billion boost to Scotland's economy post-independence. Alright. Right, that's what I've got for you. I'm sorry it broke up. I'm sorry we've had to do it in Facebook instead of in both streams. But I'm afraid that's what happens when you're having power outages. Short ones, I say. That one, where it dropped off, that was the third one this morning. They've been short, but the power's dropped off a few times now this morning. Okay, let's move on to this morning, what the papers have to say, shall we? Right, the National has 20 billion Indy Scotland boost. First Minister unveils major investment fund plan and big speech. Right, now what she's saying is that the money being made in the renewable sector as we export electricity will be invested in an sovereign wealth fund, if you like, or a national investment fund. And she's saying that over the first 5 years it'll be 20 billion that will be set aside from the money we get for selling oil, gas and electricity to bolster Scotland's infrastructure and economic programmes. Right, the Herald has Sturgeon's rallying cry over plans for new Indy ref vote. FM pledges, I will never give up on democracy. Well, there will we. And the Press and Journal has, it's green for go on independence. SNP's economic case for yes vote will shift focus to renewables, and Sturgeon pledges 20 billion fund towards building a new Scotland. The Times has Sturgeon, I'm staying, the job's not finished. And that's the announcement the First Minister made at the conference yesterday, that she's not gone anywhere. What's the lonely rag the Express got? Sturgeon has given up on all Scottish voters. Apparently, Pamela Nash, who leads Scotland in the Union, is a bit upset with the First Minister. She says she was agitating the public in her toxic speech. And according to the Lonely Rag the Express, Sturgeon has given up on Scottish voters. No, what that title? Let me correct that title. Scotland has given up on unionists and on the Union. Oh, let's try again. Scotland's voters have given up on the Labour and Tory party. That's what this is all about. And why anybody's given a dark money organisation like Scotland and the Union press and airtime, I have no idea. But it is a loony right-wing rag. The Eye has cost of living help before Christmas, and that's the announcement that Nicola Sturgeon said that it would be 260 quid instead of 130 for the Scottish Government to help with the cost of living crisis. Remember, they're also going to get £364, I think it is, from the UK Government, those in the lowest incomes. But apparently 8 million have been banned for it because of a glitch in the universal credit escalator. Right, the Metro has the baby poisoner. Court told neonatal nurse linked to 7 deaths was constant malevolent presence. So apparently there's a nurse out there who's in court for murdering babies on the neonatal wards. Right, the Daily Telegraph has nurse used insulin to kill babies trial told. The other loony rag, the Daily Mail has the day death rained from the sky, and that is apparently Putin launched a series of rockets into Kiev yesterday, or Kiev, whatever they're calling it these days. The Courier, it runs with the stupidest bloody headline I've ever read. Free ports could help to create 7,000 jobs. Free ports don't create jobs, they shift jobs from one population centre to another, or outside the population centre. You create no income for the exchequer, or very little, and they don't see a boost in jobs and a boost in industry. They just see companies moving from the area they're in into these free port areas for cheaper taxes. Simple as that. So that is a loony right-wing headline in the Courier. The record has scared mum and two babies barricaded in flat with a notorious sex predator upstairs and protesters at the front door. So apparently the sex offender's been moved into a set of flats, and the wee woman that lives there with her two kids is petrified. And don't seem to have a star this morning. Nah, no star today, folks. So that's what I've got for you. Hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it informative. I'm sorry about the break in the transmission coming out for Restream. As I say, the reason why I've stuck to the phone is I've had 3 outages in the last hour. Chances are if I booted up Restream and back into the studio, I would have had another outage. Now what I'm going to do is, when I've finished this and I've walked my dog, I'll come back and I'll pre-record the whole programme and put it out in one go, okay? Right, so, I say, that's what I've got for you today. I hope you found it entertaining, I hope you found it informative. Now remember folks, the campaign is up and running now, big style. And the Supreme Court starts to hear the case for the Scottish Government and the Scottish Parliament legislation for another independence referendum today. The hearings will take place today, tomorrow, in the Supreme Court down that road, and we'll get the judgment December, January probably. I'm expecting them to sit on the fence and say it's a political issue, nothing to do with the courts. Others are expecting them to rule against the Scottish Parliament. Some are expecting them to rule for the Scottish Parliament. I expect the Supreme Court judges to listen, to get off their chairs, go back into the inner sanctum of the Supreme Court down that road, sit down, light up a fag, have a cup of coffee, look at each other and say, I think we'll sidestep this one, kids. You know, so I expect them to come out and say, not getting a judgment on it, it's political. Simple as that. Right. So, as a campaign on the way, keep your eyes on the prize, learn your how you gonies, get out there and win hearts and minds, okay? Support the independent media, support Broadcasting Scotland, Independence Live, Indy Live Radio, Caledon Media, Trues Radio, the iScot magazine and the national newspaper. Support independence vloggers and bloggers, and if they've got a crowdfunder on the go, then please, if you can afford it, which is highly unlikely in today's economic environment, throw a few shekels in the pot, will you? These guys do great work, great investigative work. And there's only a couple of bits of guidance left. And when it comes to the virus control, so keep your eyes on the prize. Sorry, what am I talking about? Keep your eyes on the prize. So, the 2 bits of guidance left. If you're in enclosed public spaces, they're asking that you wear face coverings. And if the other bit of guidance is wash hands and surfaces regularly. If you're feeling no well, mask up, social distancing, show some social responsibility. And I've just got to look at the figures here. And COVID's not really come, sorry, can't I say that? The virus has not really come down much. Alright, at this point in time, There is 768 people in hospital. There was 45 new deaths and 3,028 new cases. 1 in 45 is, according to the Office for National Statistics, is carrying a virus, so it's not going away. It's levelled out, but it's not going down, it's not going up. Alright, look after yourselves. Back tomorrow to do it again, hopefully without power cuts. Bye then out.